thedailymass.com. Experience the Roman Catholic Mass from historic St. Louis Cathedral every day on thedailymass.com. His love, anywhere in the world.
Good evening, I'm Sarah McDonald.
And I'm Jason Angela. Welcome to Issues in Faith.
Well, we are still, we're halfway through the Advent
Second week
season
in Advent.
at this point, and many parishes are still hosting special Advent activities and things that will help families and individuals prepare for the Christmas season.
Yes, and again, it's so important to invest into this Advent season, to really put your heart and soul into the prayers, and to really dive deeper into the mystery of this great season to help us foster that greater appreciation and joy of Christmas.
That's right. And so many people who want to find different things, call the parishes, not just your home parish. You can call parishes that are around you, near in geography. And they can also check our website at archdiocese-no.org. Several of the parishes have loaded their events and things like that onto our online calendar events. So we encourage everyone to visit. Even
with all the hustle and bustle, trying to get things done, I think right now maybe some people might be experiencing maybe a reprieve in busyness, a lull right now. So maybe take advantage of that lull to get into that prayer, get into the spirit of Advent, so they can appreciate the mystery of Christmas.
That's exactly right. But while many might be experiencing sort of that holiday rush lull, our schools are still going, I'm going to say gangbusters into their Christmas holidays. Just this week, we broke ground on a new campus for the Academy of Our Lady in Marrero. It's going to be a $30 million campus, state-of-the-art campus. It's extremely exciting for the school community as well as the broader community on the West Bank. We have had several really good SACS review visits this past year, but most recently, Our Lady of the Lake received a glowing report from SACS when they got their reaccreditation. We're named a model school. It's very exciting for them. Yeah, and then Mount Carmel Academy has some monthly events that go on, one of which is the Candlelight Rosary, which keeps growing in attendance. Really? And this past week, they were kind of worried. It got cold on Tuesday, right as they have them on Tuesday nights.
Hold close to that
candle, but they were promoting it. Let's get out there. Let's be part of the Advent family activity. So it was good. And then maybe what might be, sorry everybody, but the biggest news in our Catholic school system is congratulations to the Rummel Raiders, who won the state championship in football this past weekend.
That's fantastic. My father was actually a graduate of Rummel, one of the first graduates of the school, so I'm sure he's rejoicing of the Rummel Raider victory.
My brothers, both my brothers, graduated from Rummel, one who actually played football. My husband graduated from Rummel. And
so I guess we're a little partial to Rummel right now. We're going to be very happy for them, I'll say that.
That's right, but you know, I had a friend tell me they were at a Brother Martin event on Saturday night, and throughout the Brother Martin event, this shows the real spirit of family of Catholic schools. Throughout the event, they were giving score updates of the Rummel game, and when they announced that Rummel won, the entire room erupted in cheers. And you know, it's because it's the first time in 30 years a Catholic high school has won the state championship on that 5A level. So it's a real good accomplishment, real positive accomplishment for the entire family of Catholic schools.
Even though that we might get on the field and play against each other, we know at heart we're all one.
That's exactly right. So it was really kind of exciting. And on that same kind of funny note, my catty corner neighbor is also a Rummel graduate who coaches the 8th grade football team, or is a coach for the 8th grade football team, and he has all his Christmas decorations up. Well, Sunday morning when we were coming home from Mass, he has a Cookie Monster, and Cookie Monster was wearing a Rummel state champion shirt and hat, and he's been wearing it since. So there's a myriad of ways to show their Rummel congratulations, but also to really celebrate the accomplishments of our Catholic schools in so many different aspects.
Amen. Well, as we discussed briefly last week, the strategic plan is bringing some changes to the family of Catholic schools in the Archdiocese of New Orleans. Tonight, we're joined by Superintendent of Catholic Schools, Dr. Jan Lancaster, to talk about those changes and what people can expect in the future for Catholic education.
Well, thank you so much, Jan, for being with us tonight.
Well, thank you for having me.
Well, we've been talking about the strategic plan a lot on Issues in Faith throughout the last couple of years. Can you remind our viewers what the goals of the strategic plan are?
Well, basically, what we want to do, we want to look at our family of schools, and we want our family of schools to always, of course, be authentically Catholic, striving for academic excellence, and accessible to anyone who wants a Catholic education. So in regard to that, we're looking at the Catholic identity of our schools, the academics at our schools, as well as the viability. And then also, we want to look at the marketing and how we're getting the word out there, letting people know the wonderful things that our Catholic schools are doing, because we are doing magnificent things throughout the Archdiocese, and we want to let people know that 99% of our students qualify for colleges and universities, and then also that we do over 400,000 hours of service each year.
And that's just the high schools.
It's just the high schools, right?
So, and Jason and I earlier were talking about some of the things that have just happened in the last week for some of our Catholic schools, and it really is amazing, especially in this holiday time where you think things start to slow down. Our schools are just doing amazing things, and we didn't even get into some of the stuff they do for the holidays in service to the community. So,
well, we want to say, roll Rummel Raiders.
That's right. We talked about Rummel's historic victory for the Catholic League, and how that's really been a boost for the family of Catholic schools. So
oh, it's really so exciting. I just left a pep rally there, and congratulations to Coach Jay Roth. It's just, but you know what's so neat about it is, as I've seen those games, it's the sportsmanship, and you can truly see the players live in their Catholic faith.
And that's important. And you know, the Holy Father has even talked about how teamwork can be an attribute to your faith life. So I think that's very cool. But back to the strategic plan. We were talking about our schools. Many of the things in the strategic plan are going to be implemented over a series of years, but there is one change that is very immediate, and amongst all the good things we're talking about, it's sort of a sad announcement that we had to make about Cathedral Academy closing for the next school year. Can you talk about that decision?
You're right. It's extremely sad. Anytime a Catholic school closes, that is a loss to all of us. And I can't even imagine what those families are going through. I know what I feel and what I felt, but I can't even compare that to what they must be going through. In looking at our family of schools, over the last 10 years, due to the demographics after Katrina, and other factors, families are smaller. There's just not as many students. And so the strategic plan, in an objective way, looked at our family of schools and made some suggestions. They put in place a criteria, which was actually in the Clarion Herald this past week. So if people want to view that, they can go to the Clarion Herald website and look at that. But it laid out a criteria and then made suggestions or recommendations for school closures. It's based on the demographics of the area. It's based on the baptismal, the baptisms that are taking place, the birth rate in that area, and just looking at real data so that these decisions can be data-driven decisions. So it is very hard. It's a loss to our whole family of schools. At that same time, I'm pleased to announce that St. Stephen's has really stepped up. Peggy LeBlanc at St. Stephen's has said that any child who would like to come to St. Stephen's from Cathedral has a place. However, it's up to the parents as the primary educators to decide what works for his or her child in finding a placement at one of our Catholic schools. So I am going to assist in that, as well as our office. We're also going to assist in helping the faculty find employment in our family of schools. So I went there, I gave all of the parents my cell number, and the faculty as well, and I said, please call me, let us help you with this. I was there, and as long as people wanted to talk with me, I came back the next day, and like I said, several parents have called me, as well as some of the faculty, but we really want them to feel church right now, and to feel our presence, and to feel the Catholic Church sustaining them through this difficult time. First of all, we want to explain to them why this decision's made in a very transparent way, but then we also want to be there for them as they go through this transition. And our goal in doing this is so that we can make sure that we're offering the very best in Catholic education. Once a school goes under 200 students, it makes it difficult for it to sustain itself long term. And so that's what we're looking at, and that's what Drs. Convey and DeFury through Catholic University and the strategic plan, that's what they focused on, long-term viability of our schools.
And there were several schools that were being considered for closure at the beginning of the year, but they've met benchmarks or seen enrollment growth over the last several years, so they were allowed to stay open. But we are going to be reviewing schools, or you, along with the Archbishop and your office, are going to be reviewing schools to make sure that they remain viable. Is that correct?
Well, in our Archdiocese, there were different factors that some of our schools were able to boost enrollment. However, we want to make sure that that criteria is there, and if schools do come under the various criteria that are suggested from the strategic plan, yes, we are going to keep a close eye on those schools, because once again, we want to make sure that our schools remain authentically Catholic, constantly striving for academic excellence, and accessible to anyone who wants a Catholic education. And as I said, once some of those factors that Drs. Convey and DeFury laid out for us, once some of those start happening and hindering Catholic education, we need to look at that.
And what are some of the other things that are being addressed right now as the final plan is being written?
We also will naturally Catholic identity.
Sure.
And I have to say, out of the 150 recommendations, we agreed on 140 of them.
You being the principals, presidents,
the principals,
leadership.
the clergy, all of the leaders in the Archdiocese, and that's phenomenal. That's unprecedented.
Yeah.
And that involves Catholic identity. It involves the way that we want to use data-driven decisions to make changes as far as curriculum. And then also what we want our schools to look like as a family of schools. The two areas that were more difficult had to do with grade level configuration, as to what grades our family of schools should start and what grades they should stop. We know that the 8th grade is in the elementary schools, in some of the elementary schools as well as in the high schools. We start at different grade levels. Some of our schools start in pre-K3, pre-K2, newborn, nursery, and then 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th.
Right.
So we're trying to look at that. We've had administrators involved in those conversations as well as the clergy. We also are looking at the subsidy that the parish gives the parish school. And that's something that the Parish Share Committee under Father Rodney Berg, they're going to address that issue.
And so that deals a lot with the viability, but also the accessibility of schools for families.
Exactly.
So when can people expect to hear some of the final decisions from the Archbishop and you regarding the strategic plan?
Well, we are hoping for the spring, sometime in the spring of 13, probably April, beginning of May. That's what we're aiming to have everything complete and all the recommendations. However, I just want to note that the recommendations, other than the school closure, a lot of those recommendations, such as the grade level configuration, that will not apply to the next school year.
Yeah, that's a very important note. We don't want people thinking we're going to make announcements in April that will affect the 2013-2014 school year. This is going to be a multi-year process to implement the strategic plan, but all focused on creating a strong academic environment that is authentically Catholic for our students as we move into the future.
Yes. Yes.
Well, thank you so much, Jan, for being with us tonight and always, and for your commitment to Catholic schools and for sharing the good news of Catholic education. I think that's been very refreshing. We're getting a lot more news about the good things going on in Catholic education in our schools, and so I want to thank you for spearheading that effort among our Archdiocese.
Thank you for having me here, Sarah.
Well, again, for those with questions about the strategic plan or for more information about proposed grade structure models, you can go online to ocs.arch-no.org, and you can always call 504-866-7916. And when we come back, how you can give back this Christmas season in the memory of Archbishop Hannon. This is Issues in Faith on LAE.
It's happening in schools and schoolyards. A timeless tradition is rekindled with every new class, in every new face. In Louisiana Catholic schools, learning goes beyond textbooks and testing. Students are embracing faith, values, leadership skills, and of course, a classic history of academic excellence. Invest in success. Louisiana Catholic Schools. a class of their own.
Founded by Archbishop Hannon in 1966, the Archbishop's Community Appeal has supported the many programs of Catholic Charities in the Archdiocese of New Orleans. This year, the annual fundraising campaign has been renamed the Archbishop Hannon Community Appeal to honor the memory and the legacy of the campaign's founder. With us tonight are the chairs of the Archbishop Hannon Community Appeal, Byron and Shannon Adams. Thank you very much for being with us.
Thank you for having us.
Well, tell us the history and mission of this great campaign.
Well, it's Archbishop Hannon started it slightly after Hurricane Betsy, and his overall want and need to help the poor and underprivileged started Catholic Charities, which is now, nationwide. Wow. So it's been a long process. Catholic Charities supports a lot of missions here in New Orleans and the greater New Orleans area.
It's a great point. After the hurricane, that this great thing came out, and how our faith teaches us that. Where in tragedy, the Good Friday, we have the Easter Sunday, and so in the tragedy of a hurricane, all of a sudden this is then prompted to go forth.
And that's where most people see us after a disaster. Yeah. But we still have day-to-day missions for the poor and the underprivileged through many missions.
So specifically, what is the mission? What's the purpose of the campaign?
Well, just to add before we go on is when Archbishop Hannon saw the need after Betsy, he just was compelled to do something, and the funds that come in to Catholic Charities based specifically through this appeal are undisclosed funds. They help many missions, but sort of like how we just had Isaac, and the immediate need was there. They are able to tap into these funds to go specifically to the need that presents itself as well. And if they didn't have this appeal, they would not have undisclosed funds to help when there's an immediate need.
Let's go into that. Look at this need. What is the need right now?
The need is, we see it every day. The domestic abuse, the community staffing. It's a wonderful program. Business leaders, sometimes we all know when you get an application for a person that's maybe had a criminal record or a drug pass, a lot of people just throw those away, and we need to get those people jobs. So Catholic Charities stepped up to the plate, started a program to help those people through a temporary staffing position, then get permanent employment. It's been real successful.
Well, the program is vast. You're talking about doing these tours and seeing what's going on the streets too, and being aware of what's happening. Could you tell us about that?
There's 40 ministries and 2 affiliates, and there's so many to name that affect so many needs, but they really address needs from the at-risk youth and little bitty ones like the Head Start program all the way to the elderly and the most vulnerable, and like at Padua House for the children that need 24-hour care, adults and children that need 24-hour care.
2 things that come to mind. One is how awesome the church is and how great she is in responding to the needs, and how many ministries the people of our Archdiocese have come together and support and help. So there's a great opportunity for all of us in some way to maybe see how we can contribute and be a part of and actually hands-on and start helping out in those areas, 1. And then 2, maybe if we're not there, we're so busy or whatever like that, we can give money directly and affect positively a lot of people in different places.
You're affecting a lot of people, and then we're also helping what I call the blockers and the tacklers, the people that are active and work in these ministries. Right now, 94% of your dollars go directly to the cause.
And that's fantastic.
That's unbelievable, and nobody, nobody else can do that. Yeah. And we're able to leverage those funds through grants, both private and public, sometimes 71 times. The Catholic Charities budget is approaching $100 million. Wow. And we're raising a smaller amount of that and then leveraging those funds to get out and help the people of our community.
Kind of jumping ahead, but go ahead, tell us, if someone wants to contribute and take part in helping all those ministries and take part in helping to make those financial demands that are out there, what can they do? How can they help? Where can they give?
The first part, the easiest one would be to go to our website, www.ccano.org, and there would be a tab that you could donate, or you could call them, and I forget the number of 523-3755, I think it was. And you know, there's definitely money that we need to donate, but advocacy and volunteering are another big part of our group to advocate. In our political discourse right now, some of these poor and the vulnerable are getting pushed to the sides as we cut. We're hurting some of those people. To advocate that, you know, Catholic Charities does good work is a big thing too.
And there's so many ways, whether it's the high school or the youth group, to get involved, the families. There's all kind of ways, and I just really want to encourage our viewers to take part in finding a way how they can help out, and whether it's
the
website has all that information.
Yes.
Fantastic. Well, tell us about what prompted the name change for this year.
Well, I think with the Archbishop's recent passing, and since he was the one who began this mission, I think they thought this was the appropriate time to rename it. So we are hoping that people are not confused. This is the same Archbishop Community Appeal that's been taking place since Betsy. We've just renamed it and put Archbishop Hannon's name in there. So it's the Archbishop Hannon's Community Appeal. And I think it's aptly been changed to honor him and continue his mission of helping.
So again, all these different programs that we were talking about that are positively affected, that are able to have the resources they need to do it, and all the great things that they need to do. Again, what makes giving to this campaign unique?
I think it's that, Shannon said undisclosed, it's unrestricted.
Unrestricted, I said the wrong word.
But unrestricted funds allows us the ability to go out when there's a need.
Immediately without.
Immediate,
yes.
And that's the disaster things, BP oil spill, you know, when a hurricane or a flood happens. And that allows the competent people that work, you know, versus me saying, I want to give to such and such. Right. It allows them to put the money where it's needed, where it's directed.
Trust that they know where it needs to go, when it needs to happen.
And then leverage it.
Yeah, right.
So they know maybe that from a foundation they can get more money if they put up something and start it. So it gives them a little better opportunity.
Well, what's the goal that y'all are looking for this year?
1.85 million.
Wow. And so how are y'all doing right now?
We're well over $1 million. I think it was about 1.2.
Yeah.
And we're going to have a final push into the holiday season in January, and hopefully wrap up the campaign by March.
Well, Byron, Shannon, thank you so much for being with us and for sharing your message and all the work that you're doing this year to support this campaign. And God bless you in your ministries. And I hope many viewers have in their heart to help out in this great opportunity.
Thank you so much. Thank you for.
And if you'd like to donate to the Archbishop Hannon Community Appeal, visit the website, Catholic Charities. Again, it's www.ccano.org to donate online, or you can call 504-523-3755. And we'll be right back.
I'm here today inside historic St. Louis Cathedral, a place where WLAE has broadcast the daily Mass for more than 25 years.
A recent PBS ruling ensures that this valuable service will continue on WLAE for those looking for daily inspiration, and for the many who are homebound or in our area hospitals who can't attend Mass. But in order to continue to provide the Mass every day, we need your financial support now more than ever. I'm asking you to please consider donating today. We have numerous partnership opportunities available. For as little as $32 a month, you can help fund the televising of the Daily Mass, a program that lifts the spirit and enriches the lives of so many of our viewers. And for a donation of $50 or more, we will send you this beautiful signed poster of St. Louis Cathedral as our gift. Please send your contributions to WLAE-TV, 3330 North Causeway Boulevard, Metairie, Louisiana, 7002. Or to donate online, log on to WLAE.com and click on the picture of St. Louis Cathedral. For more information on partnership opportunities, call 504-866-7411.
At WLAE, we've worked hard to keep the Mass on the air. Now we need your financial support to keep it going. I know that you'll help us if you can. Thank you, and God bless.
Loyola University has filled its calendar with celebrations as the school turns 100 years old, and those in charge have opened up the party to everyone. With shows, speeches, and musical performances, just to name a few offerings, the public can get in on some great events. One of the highlights on the schedule was a kind of blast from the past as the St. Louis Jesuits reunited on stage for a concert. Janet Gross has the story.
The first is Tim Mannion, John Foley, Bob Duffer, Dan Shetty, and Rock O'Connor.
You may not recognize their faces or even their names, but chances are, if you've been to Mass in the last 30 years or so, you've heard some of their music. They are the St. Louis Jesuits. Nearly 40 years ago, they were seminary students in St. Louis. 3 became priests, 2 took a different path, but it was their work together back in those college days that helped change the sound of liturgical music.
They were really, in many ways, at a time when the Mass was changing from kind of a traditional Latin Mass to more of a participatory Mass, particularly when Mass was said in English. Their music, which was also in English or in other languages, really began kind of almost the foundation of kind of a grand new celebration. They use guitars, you know, they really get the parishes and the communities involved in singing.
Back in the day, they were considered by many to be pioneers, revolutionary, bringing a modern sound and biblical text to liturgical music.
We never set out to be this group. We never set out to be this great influence on the life of the American church. We wrote music because the people around us needed it, wanted it, asked for it.
Much of their music text comes straight from Scripture. When the lyrics come from the Bible, there's no question of endurance.
It's not something like you know, has to be, you write a song in sacred Scripture and the text has to be proven. The music may have to be, but the text doesn't. I think one of the pieces that was important for folks was the fact that much of our music was based on sacred Scripture. That comes from our Ignatius training, the spiritual exercises, and the way he taught Jesuits to pray.
He points to their Jesuit heritage as one reason for the success they've experienced, but ultimately to God for leading them step by step, note by note, spreading the word and spreading their music. Many people don't need to look at the book to remember the words to these songs. They're a part of their lives.
As soon as they said that they were having a concert with the St. Louis Jesuits, I was kind of like, sign me up. I've been singing their music since as long as I can remember, and these are the people's names I've seen at the top of every music I've sung at Mass, so it's pretty exciting.
The St. Louis Jesuits don't sing together as a group much anymore. Sometimes, for special occasions, like this 100th anniversary of Loyola. This year-long party celebrating the rich heritage of the Jesuits in New Orleans. I'm Janet Gross for Issues and Faith.
Loyola University has a year full of special events and celebrations, many of them free and open to the public. Check their website at loyno.edu for more information.
If you have a question for us, idea that you'd like to see on air, please write to us at Issues in Faith, 3330 North Causeway Boulevard, Suite 345, Metairie, Louisiana 7002, or you can email us at questions@wle.com. Plus, if you'd missed an episode, you can catch up online at www.archdiocese-no.org.
And that's our program for this evening. For all of us at Issues in Faith, thanks for watching.
We'll be back next week. Hope you join us again soon. Until then, God bless.